Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day. Today I wanted to sit down and do more of a chatty video, as you can probably see from the title, about the way my mindset has changed since starting my minimalism journey. This will be both the good and the bad changes, so I'm not hiding anything here, but it kind of reminded me of a video I posted a while ago, which I can't actually remember the exact name of, so I will post it up above so you can go check that out. But it was talking about why I got into minimalism, why minimalism is important to me, and the reasons behind it all. And I encouraged you guys to sort of have a dialogue down in the comments where we shared our reasons for starting our minimalism journeys, and even if they're quite different from one another, just as a way to sort of inspire each other and motivate each other and keep each other on track. And I thought it would be really cool because you guys really did share some amazing things on there and we were able to have a bit of a chat. I thought it'd be really cool if we could do a similar thing in today's video. So I'm going to share with you how my thoughts and my mindset has changed over the course of my journey so far, and I would absolutely love it if down in the comments you could do the same, because I'd love to see what your thoughts are as well. I think as well it's also helpful to know that the way you're feeling and your experiences with things are similar in some senses to other people on a similar journey to you, and I think it's just nice if we all share. So please do feel free to share your experiences down below. As I said, this is just going to be a casual chit chat about what I have experienced in terms of minimalism and how my mindset has changed. So my first discussion point, if you like, is how my perception of my surroundings has definitely adapted as I've gone through my journey, as I have decluttered more. It's almost as though my mind has got used to it, that it's sort of like, okay, this is the way we're living now. You've taken stuff out, you've decluttered stuff, this is the way we're doing it now. And my mind has adjusted to that and made that the norm. And then I look around and I still see clutter. It's like I'm constantly adapting, but wanting to take it even further. That has been really quite a challenge, because it feels like no matter how much I declutter, I will still want to declutter more. Things still feel like there's too much stuff. And in a way, that's a good thing, because it's encouraged me to buy less, because I'm really thinking more about when I buy something, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But at the same time, I'm sort of thinking, will I ever be satisfied? Will I achieve a level of minimalism where I think, yes, now this is comfortable, this is what I'm looking for? Or am I always going to be adapting and it's always going to feel like there's too much stuff? And of course, you've got to sort of play that off against the fact that you can keep producing your stuff, but at some point you've got to accept the fact that you need certain things to be able to live your life. You can't live off absolutely nothing. And so, where is the comfort zone? Where am I going to be satisfied with my surroundings and feeling like it's decluttered enough, whilst at the same time having the things that I need for my life and having things that genuinely bring me happiness? I've definitely been driven towards the minimal aesthetic, but as I always say, the aesthetic is not everything when it comes to minimalism. Continuing on from that is how my perception on buying things, actually making purchases of objects, of items that I'm going to bring into my space, and how that has changed, because I question everything now before I buy something. And if I'm completely honest with you, that's not in like a guilty way. It's not that I feel guilty for spending my money, because I'm very much in the mindset, whilst I'm very pro savings, I'm very much in the mindset that, I can always earn more money. And so if I do spend a bit here and there, that's not that much of a big deal. But I think a lot about the stuff, the actual thing. I'm thinking, have I got somewhere to store it when it's not in use, or is it something that's going to be out all of the time? In which case, where is it going to go? And is it going to fit in with the surroundings and look good? If it's an item like a wardrobe item, I'm thinking, is that going to fit in with the rest of my wardrobe? Is it going to coordinate, or am I literally going to buy it because it looks good as a single item and I have nothing to wear with it? Meaning it either won't get worn or I've got to buy something else additional to that to be able to wear it. I'm thinking of how long will I use it for? What am I going to use it for? And when I'm done with it, how am I going to get rid of it? Because if there's anything I've learned so far from this journey, it is the decluttering isn't the hard part. It's finding out how to responsibly let go of different items, and different items fall into different categories as to whether you can donate them, gift them, sell them. It all depends on quality, how much they've been used. Is it something that could be recycled? Would you have to trash it? There are so many things to think about after you've done the declutter in terms of getting rid of the items from your space, that I am questioning that when I bring something into my space, thinking, well, how am I going to let this go when I'm done with it? And personally, all of that questioning that I've been doing that's made me reduce the amount of things I'm buying and reduce the amount I'm spending and this, that, and the other, I personally take as a massive positive. I think a lot of people might see that as quite a negative thing because I'm putting a lot of restriction on myself. I'm causing myself to doubt when I buy something. But actually for me, I'm glad it's had that effect. I'm glad that I don't walk into a store or a shop now and feel like I've just got to have everything, and that I make purchases without even any consideration, which is definitely what I used to do. So I'm glad of this shift in mindset that I've had, even though I guess some people might view that as a negative shift that I've had. And one thing I really think about when I'm considering a purchase is that I will feel a lot worse if I buy something and then a few months down the line I regret it, I wish I didn't buy it, I realise I didn't get the use out of it. Whereas if you think about it on the flip side, is that if you put off buying something and then decide later on that actually you want it, you can go back, in most cases, you can go back and still purchase that item after you've had time to think about it and realise actually you really did want it. I would much rather do it that way than buy something that I will regret later on. My next topic of discussion is loosely linked to the savings I've been able to make, because it's allowed me to think about the possibilities that money could bring to me in the future. By spending less overall, I noticed a small savings. I had money left in my account at the end of the month, so I decided to be sensible about that and start saving it and investing it in different ways. Mostly saving. I've only dipped my toe in with investing. I'm definitely not an expert on that yet. I've been meaning to talk more on this channel about money and the ways I invest, but I'm very afraid of giving out any false information, so I'll only talk about the things I'm confident in talking about. So some of you have requested videos on how I'm investing right now, and that content will come, but it will come when I feel like I can do it justice and actually give useful, helpful, accurate information. So I've not forgotten, it's just something I'm really trying to work my way around and have a really solid understanding of before I bring you that content. Anyway, I digress. So I really wanted to make that a priority, and savings for me is absolutely a priority. But seeing that saving building up, albeit slowly over time, does allow you to think ahead to the future and start planning ahead on what you will use that money for, because my assumption is I'm saving this money for a reason, because I'm not saving this money for the sake of having money. I'm going to use it at some point and I have my plans for it. So saving money for me, my main priority is to be able to, if you like, retire earlier. From that, I just mean from a traditional working job where you actually go into a workplace. I wouldn't mind working for myself or having sources of income where I can work from home and things like that. But I don't plan on working a traditional job until retirement age, which would be 67 for me. That is not in my plan. So for me, having built up that safety net so I could retire is important. Also, having some emergency fund is important to me. I can't imagine now not having that and knowing that if something went wrong, that I've got that little security to fall back on. But then beyond that, I do have dreams, you know, I do have goals that I want to achieve sort of personally to me. One of those would be I would love to travel. I mean, I know the situation as it has been, many of us have not been traveling, but that has really been a shift in mindset for me because I was never really that bothered about travel. Throughout my teenage years into my early 20s, my family, we used to go to the US almost every summer and travel around a handful of states each time we went. And I enjoyed that, that was great, but it always was so jam-packed. We were always so determined to get as much into sort of a 3.5 week trip that it was not a break. Like, it was not a vacation in the traditional sense. You came home more exhausted and then felt like you needed a break afterwards. And whilst, yes, it was an absolutely amazing experience, it did make me think that for a few years, which it has been since we last went, if I had any vacation time or holiday time away from work, I would want to be at home and resting in that time. And I think, you know, COVID has allowed me to do that I've had time to rest at home. And now I am so keen to go out. I really want to travel Europe. Obviously I live in the UK, and I went to France on a school trip in year 9 for like 5 days. And that is all I've seen of Europe, and there are so many amazing places in Europe that I would love to go and see. And yeah, my mindset has completely shifted on that, because now I think, well, I could use a little bit of this money I've saved to take a trip, and that is now a possibility. It might not necessarily have been a possibility before. The possibility before might have been 1 or 2 days away somewhere in the UK, because, you know, we had bills to pay and I was spending my money on other things like clothes and makeup, and yes, I was spending a ridiculous amount of money on those things. But now there is the possibility to go and travel if I want to, so that is something I'm thinking about. It also makes me think even bigger and sort of where we will live years into the future, and this one is sort of a very long off goal, but, you know, the house I'm living in now, it very much serves the purpose we need to serve it now. We don't need anything more or different to this, but I do have this sort of feeling inside that this will not be our forever home. You know, it's not where I envision I end up. It's not necessarily that I want more space or bigger space, but different space. And that, you know, there's a few things I want personally in, if you like, a forever home that this house couldn't provide. Even if we changed it drastically, there still isn't that capability within it. So, you know, I am thinking now about the future and about my bigger goals and what I would like to achieve. And, you know, I think it's great to have those bigger goals and know what I'm saving for. And it's kind of like a cycle, because seeing that small amount of savings every month allowed me to start building up savings, and that allowed me to sort of have these aspirations for the future. Those in turn then encourage me to want to save more, and it goes round and it goes round. And so it's kind of like a happy loop of saving for the future and things I might want to do and achieve then. But let's not be unrealistic, because there is no point in us working hard and earning money to not enjoy it now, because, you know, none of us know how long we've got. I don't know how much future I'm going to be given, and so it's very important that we enjoy our money now. And whilst, as I've said, saving is a massive priority for me, so is enjoying my money. And here is how I have, again, changed my mindset even within the time on this journey, because at the start of it, I was very much, I'm not going to spend a single penny that could be considered waste. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spend a little bit, because I want to enjoy the here and the now. It's not just the future I'm thinking about. So I'm really positive about the fact that I found a happy middle where I am saving what I need to save, and then that little bit I've got left, I'm saying, you know what, I can enjoy this and I can spend this now. So a few things I've been spending it on are a couple of little trips. So I've had some vacation time this summer. I have been on 2 little trips. I went away to Cambridge for a couple of days with my sister, and then I went to Lincoln for a couple of days with a friend, and we enjoyed ourselves. You know, I didn't have to do everything on a budget. We could have, but we didn't have to. So we stayed in a nice hotel and we went out for meals, and we didn't do it the absolute cheapest way we could, we did it in a way that it still felt great and that we enjoyed it and we got to do the things whilst we were there that we wanted to do. And for me, that was really important, that if I'm going to go out and have this experience and travel, that I do it in a way that it feels good and it feels special, and I'm not counting the pennies the whole time. So that was great. Another thing I've done, which I actually can't even believe in myself, because I've always said this is not something I saw the point in, and that was that I recently joined a gym. I have even said it in previous videos that, you know, gym membership is not something I would pay for because you can do most of it at home. And yes, a lot of it you can, but at the same time, there's a lot of it you can't. And honestly, more than anything, I have absolutely loved the atmosphere and the motivation you get from the atmosphere of going to the gym. It's done my mind and sort of how I'm feeling in myself the world of good. I know people say like the goodness you do to your body also benefits your mind, and honestly I've been loving it. The membership I have I don't think is too expensive, and it also includes loads of classes. So already I have been going to Pilates class and spin class. It's allowed me to meet new people, and yeah, the whole thing has been a really great experience. So I take back any negative things I said about gym memberships before, and you know what? I'm happy my mindset has changed on that because I've really been enjoying it. So that's something else that I've been putting some of my money left over at the end of the month towards, and it has been great. And then, as some of you know, we recently got 2 rabbits. We really felt, me and my husband, you know, we consider ourselves a family, but we're a little family, you know, we don't have children. We felt the time was right to have pets, and you know, I've mentioned in a previous video like the whole reason why we went for rabbits as our choice of pet. I won't go into all of that now. And it's been great. We've only had them for a couple of months and they have brought us so much joy. We absolutely adore them. And yes, it has been another expenditure for us, but it's been a good one. So that's something else that we've really enjoyed, and where we're spending money that we weren't before. And that's definitely a mindset change for me, because before having pets, before you realise what joy they can bring you, it's just something in my head. I was thinking, well, surely that's something else I've got to spend money on. And now it's like, well, yes, but that thing that you're spending money on can in turn bring you happiness, and all about finding the balance between saving, spending, happy middle, what actually brings you happiness, and enjoying that. I'm pleased with that. Like, I feel like I'm in a good place there. So you may have noticed that the things I just mentioned, the things that right now I'm enjoying spending my money on, are really more experience-based. Things to do, things to go out and see, things to bring joy to you as an experience rather than an object. You know, I'm not getting excited over spending my money on makeup or clothes or stuff for my house. I'm getting excited about doing things and experiencing things rather than stuff. And that got me onto thinking how this journey has really caused me to become detached from my stuff. And what I mean by that is I'm not really sentimentally attached to very much of it. This is going to sound very extreme and probably not great, but if something tragic were to happen to my house, let's say there was a fire or a flood, obviously I don't want that to happen, but I would be more frustrated at the financial inconvenience that causes me because of the cost of having to replace things, and the practical inconvenience it would cause me because, you know, you need your clothes to be able to go out and go to work, and you need your kitchen to be able to eat your meals, and this, that and the other. I would be more put out by the inconvenience than being upset at what I'd lost. You know, if we put people and pets aside, obviously they'd be my priority. There is not very much in my house where I couldn't just replace it. I have a few sentimental items that, yes, I would be gutted. I would be upset if I lost them. But in all honesty, I look around, it's not a lot. There is so much I could replace. And actually there is so much that I wouldn't bother to replace. Like, it's nice to have it, and whilst I've got it, I will enjoy it. But if I no longer had it, or it was taken away from me, like I didn't make the choice to declutter it, there are items I wouldn't bother to replace. And again, I suppose that's a thing that might come across as quite a negative mindset, you know, not having that attachment to the things in my space. I would be more annoyed about the practical inconvenience and the financial inconvenience of thinking, well, how much money is that down the drain? You know, as far as I'm concerned, as long as the people in my life are okay, the stuff is just stuff. And you know what, there are plenty more things I could talk about for this video, but those are sort of my thoughts, where my mind's at, how my mind currently is, how my mindset has changed since being on this journey, and what minimalism has done for me. And remember, that's just me. That's just how I'm thinking right now. It's not how you should feel, and if you completely disagree with me, that's absolutely fine. Remember, if you feel like you can, share your own experiences in terms of minimalism, you know, feel free to add on to the points I've mentioned. Feel free to talk about your own points, you know, let's have a discussion. I love it, I love reading them. So yeah, let's go with that. So we'll wrap it up for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Bye.